my dark-siding minions of doom and evil. Today I'm going to be doing a video that's a bit different from the norm. I'm going to be reviewing the TV tropes evil overlord list. As a professional dark lord, complete with my own set of menacing spiky armor reigning over a fortress of fire and lakes of lava spewing out from everywhere and like hordes of unfathomably evil creatures, patrolling the grounds. I feel like I have a really good level of authority to speak about the evil overlord list. This is a major list in pop culture across the internet. It was produced in 1990 by members of the FedoNet Science Fiction and Fandom Email Echo, or whatever that means. I'm not very familiar with that. That seems like very old internet culture, and I just don't know anything about that. But I do know that this list is pretty funny, and I think I will be providing my own professional expertise on it, and my own professional perspective on it. So what we're gonna do is there's 100 questions. I'm gonna go over not all 100 of them because I want this to be a multi-part series so I can milk it for as much as it's worth. You don't like it, sue me. But I'll just go over as many questions as I feel, and I'll just give my opinion on whether I think not questions, statements, because every part of this list is a statement, like an evil overlord rule of thumb, and I'm just going to give my opinion on it, whether or not I agree with it. And then, yeah, well, I'll just have some fun going over this evil overlord list together. All right, so let's begin. Number one, my legions of terror will have helmets with clear plexiglass visors, not face concealing ones. Um, excuse me. I don't agree with this. I'm already getting off to a bad start with this list, I think, because my evil goons all have face concealing visors. Like, they're not gonna have clear plexiglass ones. You're not in this business so I can see your face. I don't want to see your ugly mug, buddy. I want to see the cool ass helmet that my engineers designed for you, with like a red line, a menacing red line cutting through like a steel visage or something like that. I don't know. But the point is, I don't want to see your stupid face. You will not have a clear plexiglass visor. You will have a face concealing one, and that's final. If anyone has any problems with that, I can throw them out the airlock. Okay, number two. My ventilation ducts will be too small to crawl through. Yes, yes, I agree. Ventilation ducts should be too small to crawl through because if they aren't, well, I mean, the hero or heroes can find a way to escape my trap that I set cleverly to destroy them with by just crawling through the ventilation shaft and then, taking my forces by surprise somewhere else. So no. In my evil bases, all the ventilation ducts will be way too small to crawl through. Not even for children. And not even children will be able to crawl through them. They'll be that small. They'll be narrow, very narrow as I can possibly make them. And you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll even like have flamethrowers installed in the ventilation shafts. I know that's a safety hazard. Actually, it's more than a safety hazard. That's absolutely fucking insane. But you know what? We're gonna do it anyway because if someone is crawling through the ventilation shafts and I don't want them there, boom, they're now a crisped corpse. They're crisped human, ready to be served. Anyway, excuse me, sorry about that. My noble half-brother, whose throne I usurped, will be killed, not kept anonymously imprisoned in a forgotten cell of my dungeon. Yes, I don't know why I would keep him alive. I took the throne from him, the legitimate heir, and I murdered all his political loyalists, and I kind of just had his entire faction purged from government. I have no idea why I would keep him alive. And you're thinking, oh, what about some like sense of familial sentimentality? If you have familial sentimentality, you're not fit to be an evil overlord to begin with. So no, my noble half brother will be rotting in the depths of hell. He will not be in a fucking dungeon somewhere. I already agree. You know what? Maybe this list isn't so bad after all. Shooting is not too good for my enemies. Number four. I agree with that too. My enemies will do anything to win, including shoot at me. I'm not gonna say, oh, you would never do this. You don't have the balls to do this because, the hero typically does have the balls to do it, and most villains learn that the hard way. So, no, shooting is not too good for my enemies. All right, number five. The artifact, which is the source of my power, will not be kept on the mountain of despair beyond the river of fire guarded by the dragons of eternity. It will be in my safe deposit box. The same applies to the object, which is my one weakness. Safe deposit box sounds more rational, but like The mountain of despair beyond the rivers of fire guarded by the dragons of eternity sounds way fucking cooler. So no, I'm gonna keep it there. Sorry. Not taking your advice on this one, Evil Overlord list. Okay, number 6. I will not gloat over my enemy's predicament before killing him. Yes, that's obvious. I cannot tell you how many times villains have provided their own hubris because they're like, "Oh, I finally have you now, Captain Do-Gooder, and look at you. You're just pathetic and writhing on the floor while I am your god. I am your destroyer. You will bow," and then they just get destroyed because they're too busy monologuing about their victory. I will not do that. The moment Captain Do-Gooder is on his back on the floor, I'm shooting him in the head. His heroic brains will become a heroic painting on the fucking floor. No way am I gonna gloat. I do not make the mistakes of past villains. I'm actually an improvement on past villains, if you guys haven't noticed. Anyway, when I've captured my adversary and he says, "Look, before you kill me, will you at least tell me what this is about?" I'll say no and shoot him. On second thought, I'll shoot him and then say no. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think I'll do the second thing. You have no right to know about any of my plans or complex motivations or the reasons why I'm so fucking evil. You just have to die. You want to know what this is about? You dead. That's it. I mean, there's much more to it, but according to you, for you, that's all you need to know. So yes, big agree on this one. All right, episode 8. Episode 8. What am I saying, man? Oh my god, it's so late. 8. After I kidnap the beautiful princess, we will be married anonymously in a quiet civil ceremony, not a lavish spectacle in 3 weeks' time, during which the final phase of my plan will be carried out. Um, I don't really have any plans involving marrying beautiful princesses because marriage is not really in my, plans. It's not in my schemes. But if I do have to marry someone purely for political power, I'm just gonna marry them immediately. I don't know why I would, make it a whole ceremony that the hero can interrupt and, save the princess from my grasp. Like, I'm not letting that happen. Of course, the princess is merely a toy for my amusement, so, I don't really care much for her to begin with. Like, I'm not even aware that I had to marry a princess. Like, I'm marrying a princess now. I'm not doing that. But if I had to do that, I would do that in the way the Evil Overlord list described. So, yeah. Number 9. I will not include a self-destruct mechanism unless absolutely necessary. If it is necessary, it will not be a large red button labeled Danger Do Not Push. The big red button marked Do Not Push will instead trigger a spray of bullets on anyone stupid enough to disregard it. Similarly, the on and off switch will not be clearly labeled as such. Why would I ever have a self-destruct mechanism on anything ever? To begin with. Maybe if like the enemy is about to capture an installation or a weapon of war of mine and I can't let them have the information on it, yes. But if I really need to have one, as the list says, I would probably just have it be like some kind of remote command activation. Maybe like a touchpad or like a magical like nexus I can exclusively control from my fortress throne room. And whenever a ship is in trouble, it starts beeping red, or a ship or like a base or something, and I just like click the button and it blows up there. So I'll just have supreme control over it. No one else. So no one else will be able to like, self-destruct my vessels in any way, shape, or form. And if I have to leave it to lieutenants, maybe I'll just like have some code system for self-destruct that only they know, and only like my most trusted advisors and military officials know. Anyway, number 10. I will not interrogate my enemies in the inner sanctum. A small hotel well outside my borders will work just as well. No, I am going to interrogate my enemies in the inner sanctum because that sounds fucking cool. Why would I go to a small hotel when I own an entire badass fortress? You will be interrogated in the inner sanctum, and once I find out everything you know, I will kill you. I have no reason to go to some dingy, pathetic hotel writhing with inferior beings just to carry out an interrogation. Like, what's the point of setting up all that torture equipment and, like, hiring that professional torturer? And like hiring a bunch of people to like manage all that equipment and do the upkeep and like patrol my underground dungeon if it's not to use it to interrogate someone. Now, I did mention earlier that I wouldn't put my noble half brother in that dungeon, but that doesn't mean I don't have a dungeon to begin with. I am gonna have a dungeon because dungeons are awesome. Um, not the weird BDSM dungeons though, just the cool like evil dungeons where I leave my enemies to rot in cells. I don't really support that those weird people. Anyway, I 11. I will be secure in my superiority. Therefore, I will feel no need to prove it by leaving clues in the forms of riddles or leaving my weaker enemies alive to show they pose no threat. No, I agree. Yes, I'm very secure in knowing that I'm better than everyone else. Why would I leave clues that could easily be used against me in the future? No. Any threat to me will be terminated immediately. There will be no clues for the heroes to follow up on, no enemies alive. I run into you, I take you down, you die. That's basically it. Why would I leave you alive just so you could come back and prove to be a thorn in my side? No way that's happening. 12. One of my advisors will be an average 5-year-old child. Any flaws in my plan that he is able to spot will be corrected before implementation. I don't know. That would have to be one smart 5-year-old child. Unless it's something like the Occam's razor thing, which is a principle saying that the simplest solution is often the obvious one. So maybe by that in principle, maybe this kid would be useful, but I still really don't see how a 5-year-old would be helpful to my evil schemes. I don't even think he would understand half of them, let alone be able to point out flaws in them. So unless it's like some wonder kid genius who like passed college at age 4, no, I'm not doing that. 13. All slain enemies will be cremated or at least have several rounds of ammunition emptied into them, not left for dead at the bottom of the cliff. The announcement of their deaths, as well as any accompanying celebration, will be deferred until after the aforementioned disposal. Yes, no, I agree. Yes, yeah, no. This is a no-brainer. I don't even have to explain myself on this one, I think. If you don't agree with this line of thinking, then um, you probably shouldn't be an evil overlord because trust me, this is like super. This is just a no-brainer. Just kill your fucking enemies. I feel like variations of this like principle have been set throughout this list. Just kill your enemies, bury your foes. That's like evil overlording number one, like 101. Okay. Uh, Anyway. 14. The hero is not entitled to a last kiss, a last cigarette, or any other form of last request. Why would I ever kiss the hero? No, what the fuck? I would definitely not give him a last cigarette or anything like that. No, as the hero lay dying, I'm gonna finish him off. 15. I will never employ any device with a digital countdown. If I find that such a device is absolutely unavoidable, I will set it to activate when the counter reaches 1 minute and 17 seconds and the hero is just putting his plan into operation. Yep. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I like this one. Yeah, no brainer. I will never utter the sentence, but before I kill you, there's just one thing I want to know. No, yeah, I don't need to know anything from these inferior beings. I'm the Dark Lord. I have omnipotence. I know practically everything there is to know about the universe. I don't need I don't need to know anything the hero does. If I do, then I could have just gotten it from interrogation beforehand before I like execute them. Because if not, then if I didn't get it from the interrogation, they were probably never going to tell me to begin with. So, yeah. 17. When I employ people as advisors, I will occasionally listen to their advice. Yes. Yes, see, this is a very underrated one. Too often I see evil overlords throughout fiction and throughout real life, even. They just ignore their advisors and go on their own haywire plans and just fuck everything up for their organization. I'm not like that. If I hire an advisor, it's for a purpose, so he can advise me and give me good counsel enough to avoid making bad decisions. I mean, no evil empire runs on one person alone. I mean, even though you are like a suzerain over your empire, you still need people to help manage the bureaucracy, administration, etc., etc. You have advisors to help you make important decisions. So no way am I just going to like disregard their advice when I went through so much trouble to bring them on board to begin with. So yeah, advisors will be listened to. Not occasionally, but quite often, actually, in my empire. 18. I will not have a son. Although his laughably underplanned attempts to usurp power would easily fail, it would provide a fatal distraction at a crucial point in time. Yeah, no, I'm not planning to have kids. The most I'm gonna do is clones of myself. And if I need to have children, they're just gonna be vessels for my consciousness. So I have no plans to have any sentient children of any kind. I mean, the most that I would have in the form of conventional children would be clones. So yeah, again, no. 19. I will not have a daughter. She would be as beautiful as she was evil, but one look at the hero's rugged countenance, and she'd betray her own father. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not having a daughter because for one, I am never inhabiting the body of a fucking woman. Like, no thanks. No offense, of course, but like, I'm sticking to male bodies exclusively, so I'm never transferring my consciousness into like a daughter of any kind. Secondly, why would I have kids to begin with? I just explained that I'm not having children because, there are thorns in my side for a great many reasons. And three, if I did have one and the hero used her against me by like, having her betray me by like, convincing her to join his side of heroism and goodness, then I would just feel humiliated because rightfully so, the hero punked me. So no, I'm not having a daughter. Especially if I'm not having a son, I'm especially not having a daughter. All right, number 20. Despite its proven stress relieving effect, I will not indulge in maniacal laughter. When so occupied, it's too easy to miss unexpected developments that a more attentive individual could adjust to accordingly. Yeah, I'm not on board with this one. Maniacal laughter is fucking awesome. It's really fun and it's really stress relieving to just maniacally laugh, especially when a plan comes to fruition or when you finally let your guard down around people you've been like trying to manipulate and like putting a mask around for your whole life, and finally you get to betray all of them and like use your coup to seize power. There is no way I'm not maniacally laughing at that moment. Consequences be damned. I'm going to be maniacally laughing and I'm going to enjoy every second of it no matter what happens. So anyway, those were the first 20 rules of the evil overlord list. I disagreed with some, agreed with others. I hope you guys enjoy my opinions on the evil overlord list. If any other fellow evil overlords would like to put their own input in the comments below, feel free. If you guys like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate your patronage as always. I'm really loving the views I'm getting on my shorts. I will continue releasing a lot of shorts. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's been amazing. It's been amazing to see all the support I'm getting on my TF2 shorts and my villain competency shorts. I mean, you guys are really awesome. And I'm really appreciative for everything you're doing for this channel. Because together, Darksiders, we are going to conquer not just the internet, but the entire world. And then the galaxy, and then the universe, and then who knows, maybe even the multiverse itself. But until that glorious day of victory comes, all we can do is march on to our inevitable success. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next parts of the Evil Overlord List series. And as always, Darksiders, I am watching, so make sure you're as evil as you can be. Trotsky out.